Manchester United have been heavily linked to JOAO Felix once again. In this video we will look at his strengths, weaknesses, how he could fit into Manchester United team, and ultimately should Manchester United sign JOAO Felix in January. So when looking at JOAO Felix, we see a player who is just 23 years old. He does feel like he has been around for a very long time, but making that big jump at just 19 to Atletico for £110 million ended up being a very poor move from him and his advisor's point of view. When we look at a player who just doesn't fit into the system, it is always going to be hard for him to thrive. We are looking at a player in this season with 23 appearances, 5 goals, 3 assists. Those are not numbers we typically associate with players valued between 60 to 80 million, but looking at those underlying numbers, we can see a player who has a lack of involvement in his overall game plan of his manager's team. We also see a player who isn't favoured by his manager an awful lot this season. We've seen Angel Correa play over JOAO Felix for his defensive work rate, and that is something that is a concern, and it is highlights the fact that JOAO Felix is not in the system where he needs to be to thrive as a player. We're looking at a player with 1.6 shots per game, so he is getting involved in terms of shooting. Many of those are long shots from outside of the box. We are also looking at a player with 0.6 key passes per game, which highlights to me a player who can make incisive passes, make very good through balls, find options in the box, and be an overall creative player. Especially whenever we look at 3 assists this season for a low scoring Atletico team, is still a good return, but he just isn't involved enough. JOAO Felix would suit a team with a higher degree of possession, more off the ball, and that's what Manchester United can do. United hold the ball a lot in our game, but we have a very lack of incisive players at our club. We have only scored 20 goals this season, the 11th most in the league. JOAO Felix could be a player to come in to help link up that attack and finish moves off by himself. Looking at the strengths of JOAO Felix's game, they are undeniable and they highlight his talent. We look at a player who's got fantastic long shots, he's a very good finisher, he can finish with his head, he can dribble, he can pass, he can hold players up. He doesn't hold off players in the traditional sense of a big target man spreading his arms out. JOAO Felix has a low centre of gravity, he holds the ball close to him, he's very hard to dispossess, and he rolls players, he turns players in tight spaces, and that's something Manchester United can definitely benefit from. United very often come up against low blocking teams who play 2 banks of 4 in front of us, and we can't break them down. JOAO Felix could be a very good option to help with that in terms of his progressive passes, his creativity, his vision, and his overall finishing ability. For me, he would be a player we could sign, and it would make a big impact on that team. He is very reminiscent of Anthony Martial's game, a player of course who has excelled when he has played this season, but it is as always a lack of fitness the problem with Anthony Martial this season. So for me, JOAO Felix could be a definite upgrade on Martial in terms of both ability and fitness. I feel like JOAO Felix could be a player tailor-made for Erik Ten Hag's system, and that's reflected in Ten Hag's persistent interest of JOAO Felix over the years. So how will JOAO Felix line up at Manchester United? In my opinion, it will be either as a 9 or as a 10. Much more likely to be at 9 due to United's current needs for a central striker, and as well, Bruno Fernandes has been named on the pitch captain by Erik Ten Hag, so it is very likely that he will continue to put his faith in Bruno Fernandes. So obviously the Portuguese link up will be very beneficial to United, as well as Bruno Fernandes' overall game. Bruno, as you know, is a player who likes to get forward, get into the box, and occupy those central striking positions. Whenever we see JOAO Felix's overall game, he likes to drop deep, get on the ball from time to time, beat a man on the dribble, create space for shots, and create space for others. So it is definitely a very fluid option United could have up front. Whenever we look at Marcus Rashford and Antony as well on the wings, 2 players who love to cut in, with JOAO Felix vacating space, dropping deep, that would allow them to burst into the box, get their shots off, get their passes off, which really suits their inverted game. It is a signing that I think could work very nicely tactically. Of course, we have seen players like this star for Erik Ten Hag in forward options. Dusan Tadic initially at Ajax played as a striker, as a sort of false 9, and it could be an option for Manchester United. JOAO Felix would present a very high degree of tactical flexibility, which would be fantastic for United's overall game, and plus his own game is very similar in style to Anthony Martial. When we watch Anthony Martial play, he is a player who brings players in to play very well by vacating space with his passes, with his touches. Anthony Martial is not a strong player, he's not a big player who holds defenders off, and neither is JOAO Felix. They could hold players off, bring others into play, create overloads, and create more opportunities for Manchester United to score. For me, JOAO Felix would be a very good option up front. I feel like as well, if United were to go with Cody Gakpo as well, who they've been very heavily linked to, the pair of them could have a very nice understanding on the pitch, with Felix dropping off the ball to receive, finding Gakpo bursting into the box to create chances. I feel like that's a very, very potentially successful avenue for Manchester United to explore, and it is something very, very exciting as well. I feel like JOAO Felix will be perfect for Erik ten Hag's side. Of course, he did try to sign him in August, so it definitely is a move that does have traction. There is something in this. There is no smoke without fire, as they say, and definitely for me, JOAO Felix could be a very, very good option for Manchester United. One possible caveat against the signing of JOAO Felix for me is United's lack of options in the box. Now, JOAO Felix is capable in the air, he does score headers, but United have missed that focal point in attack. They have missed that striker to occupy those central defenders and be there for cutbacks and for crosses into the box. Whenever Cristiano Ronaldo played for Manchester United this season, we've seen him heavily drawn over to that left-hand side. When Anthony Martial plays, he also occupies that left-hand side, having previously played as a left winger. Marcus Rashford's natural instincts are to drift left as well. We see Bruno occupy those left sides. Luke Shaw and Christian Eriksen. United are very, very left heavy. We only really have Anthony and Diogo Dalot as attacking outlets on that right hand side. So for me, a player who perhaps is left footed could be a very good option for that striking position to naturally occupy some of those wide right, inside right channel positions. That'll help Manchester United very much tactically. I feel like as well the switch of Christian Eriksen and Casemiro could benefit that enormously, with Eriksen holding more of an attacking position on that right hand side. But in terms of striker, I do think JOAO Felix could be very, very good for Manchester United. There are just one or two issues with his game, with his natural tendencies, that might not address every worry that United have in the attacking sense, but I think JOAO Felix could still be a very, very capable and a very, very good signing for JOAO Felix, a player heavily linked to Erik ten Hag's Manchester United throughout the majority of Ten Hag's reign as manager. For me, there is no smoke without fire. There has to be something in this, because we're seeing reputable journalists come out from the Telegraph, from the Times, saying that there is an interest from Manchester United in JOAO Felix, and that's something that we have to take note of. It's something that we have to look at, and it's why we've done this video today. So of course, Manchester United very heavily linked to Cody Gakpo. If I had to say between Gakpo and Felix as to who's more likely, in my opinion, it'll be Cody Gakpo. Of course, personal terms are great in the summer. A move nearly happened, and he shares the same agent with Erik ten Hag. This is a deal United could wrap up very quickly, in my opinion, and he definitely is the player in form out of the two. Let me know down in the comments below, guys, would you prefer Cody Gakpo or JOAO Felix? Let me know down below, or if there's anybody else you think Manchester United should target for that central striking position. Thank you very much for watching the video. As always, guys, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.